back to my channel. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner, and we are back for another episode of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. This is season 6 and this is episode 3, and this is called, you already know, hold on. You always gotta give me a moment here because I just got done watching the show. And this, before we get into the name of the episode, this was good to me. Like, they're always good though. Like, honestly, the first episode was kind of okay, but like everything else, oh child, we're at episode 3 and I'm like, yep, they're still doing what they need to do. And I enjoy this franchise so much, and yeah, it's good. But episode 3 is called Dismissed. And it's very fitting for this episode, and this episode was good. It was chaotic. Everyone had a little bit of everything going on here. But before we get into the episode, let's talk about the taglines. The taglines came out, and the girls' new looks finally came out. Or now, when we're talking about the girls, you already know I like to give a visual, a little bit of something besides me just talking, and you just see my pretty face. I like to give the new looks and everything. And so now, moving forward, you probably saw the intro was slightly different. It's current now because, you know, they still were using last season's, or they still only had last season's up for a while, like as far as like being able to use it for content. But now it's there, and because I want to be able to use it, and shout out to bravotv. That's where I got, you know, all the stuff from, including the taglines, the new photos and all that. And because we gotta give credit to where we're getting it from, cite the sources and whatnot, right? We learned that in school. But before we get into it, let's talk about these taglines. And also too, all the women, you could, if you can't tell what their intro is versus their little side thing that they have whenever it's their segment, their outfits are slightly different, and I'm so glad they upgraded. I'm sure Heather Gay is too, because if they were still going to use last season's intro, she was still in her weight loss journey, and now she's looking the way she's looking, and you can tell the girls this season are elevated. I mean, they were already elevated last season, but this season, they're elevated. They're one of them girls, and I love that for them. But without further ado, let's get into the taglines after that, then we'll get into the episode. Okay, so let's start with Heather. Her tagline is, "My nest is almost empty, but this bird is ready to soar." And honestly, how would I rate this? Oh, by the way, we are going to rate the tagline. So I'm going to rate this one a solid 7, because it actually does wrap up what she has going on this season. That is literally her storyline, and we even see a little bit of her storyline this episode. And we finally got to film in her house again. Like, I feel like last season she really didn't have a storyline, but this season we do. Hopefully we'll get more story from Heather, and therefore we'll see that side of Heather that a lot of us used to like. In this episode, she was starting to turn a corner. I'm like, okay, a little bit of the old Heather's coming back out. Because the past couple seasons, she's just been getting on my nerves, and I'm sure a lot of y'all nerves is. So this episode, I was like, okay, you're going to speak up. Okay, we're not going to continue on with this weird thing that you have going on here. You're actually going to think for yourself finally. And maybe it does tie to her storyline of she actually is actively trying to find herself. I mean, that has been her storyline for most of the show, but I feel like now that her kids, as she mentioned, are out of the house, she can actually do it without feeling like she's stuck. Like, the thing that kind of kept her stuck, and I know that sounds bad, but like, she already described it in the last episode what it was. Like, it was still an old version of her life was still there. And now she can actually move forward because that old version of her life is gone now. And for those who have made some major changes in their lives, and myself included, I can relate. Now, do having children or anything like that would make it critical, or the change is that kind of a change? No. For me, my major change, for those who don't know, was running. Once I became a runner, that changed my whole entire mindset of life, and it kind of got me out of like the hole that I was in, because I felt like I was in a hole. And then ever since then, I've had different versions of me. And then the next transition for me was realizing having a partner is not critical for me. And then the other transition, the more recent transition, well, I had multiple transitions, like moving to Chicago. And I've been here for some time now. Buying in Chicago. So now I'm a permanent residence versus renting. Those milestones, they do something. Anyway, I didn't realize I was going to make this tagline thing this long. If the taglines, by the way, if this tagline thing's a little too long, I might just make this a separate video. I think I might actually. The more that I talk about it, I feel like we should make this a separate video. Because that way this will be shorter and then we can get to the episode. That's what we're going to do. So I'm not going to even edit the intro of this. I'm going to keep it as is. And then we'll go into the episode in another video. I think we need a separate video. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. But that's Heather's. I'm going to give it a solid 7. I like her tagline. Now, the next one, which I'm not quite understanding, and maybe I'll understand it more during the season, is Meredith's tagline is, while you drop lies, I'm dropping the beat. I'm not getting what that's about. So, yeah, this one didn't land for me because I don't understand what it's about. And I'm assuming maybe this is something that happens during the season and we just haven't gotten to it yet because we're only in the 3rd episode at this point. So I'm going to give this a 5 because it's not landing. And honestly, because she's not really known for singing or being in music in general, whether this is a storyline where she's being in music this season, it still doesn't land for me because it's like not what Meredith's known for. So a 5. Other than that, I really have nothing else to say when it comes to Meredith in this because it didn't land. So yeah, anyway, moving on. Side note, the other thing I was going to say too, I probably should mention in reference to Meredith is, I don't know, is it just me, but she hasn't had a personal storyline in some time now. So I know she's needed for the show. So I don't want to go through what I go through every single season with Meredith, but I feel like this is going to be another one of those seasons where Meredith ain't really got nothing going on. But because she shows up the way she does, it's going to be worth it. Because she's one of those players where I feel like she's the 6th man on the team. Like, she's not the starting 5, but you do need the 6th man for the game to win, for us to win the game. If we're talking about NBA or basketball. This is like a basketball reference. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel that Meredith is on this show. She's the 6th man. Because she kind of is like, she doesn't really have anything going on. But anyway, moving on. Okay, so the next person we're going to talk about here is, let's get into Bronwyn. And Bronwyn's been a topic, okay? She is giving a story. This episode, we got a little bit more into what's going on with her. And we have had some illusions of there's some things going on. I feel like we got to pay attention to it. And if you've seen like the trailer of the season, you kind of already know there's something that's to be ahead. She says, if my closets have skeletons, at least they're well dressed. It's cute. Only problem is with Love Bronwyn, the clothes be wearing you and you won't be wearing the clothes. So it doesn't land the way you probably think it landed, but I see what you were doing here. So we're gonna give this a 6.5. I like it, but I don't love it just because I know you think you are the fashion girly, and to a certain extent, yes, you are. It's just the problem is the fashions be wearing you and you're not wearing the fashions. And so that makes a difference. And respectfully, I think really the only person who's kind of a fashion girly on this show to me is Angie K. Angie K is kind of the only one to be given fashions. Everyone else, I'm kind of just like, it's there, but it's something missing every single time. But yeah, I like it, but I don't love it. So I'm going to give it 6.5. But it definitely does allude to how her season's going to go and what's going to get brought up. And more of her past is going to get brought up this season. And we already are kind of visiting it this episode already. So yeah. All right, so then the next person that we're going to look at is Angie K, speaking of the fashion girly, who I think is a fashion girly. In my personal opinion, I am Greek and the rest is just a tragedy. I'm not going to hold you. I love how Angie K is committed to her heritage. So this is my own bias. I'm going to give this one an 8. I think she kind of ate this one down. Because if you know the history of Greek and the Greek tragedies and comedy and drama and stuff that has to do with Greece, it lands. Also, too, we find out a little bit more about she's going to be doing more Greek stuff this season. And we also see, like during the previews of this season, that they are going to Greece. So all of this, I like it. It's a solid 8 for me. She did what she needed to do. And I can't wait to talk about her storyline a little bit this episode because it's landing for me. Because not to go too much into it, but like she talks about her story, like her being proud of her heritage, but her daughter doesn't feel the same way all the way. Not yet. And I get that because when I was younger, I was not as much really looking for the knowledge when it comes to what I had going on when it comes to, like, you know, Black history and stuff like that. Like history, I liked history, but it didn't really land for me the way I wanted to land. And now the older I get, the more I embrace it, the more I'm really trying to find more history. And not just Black American history, but like Caribbean, like all the diasporas. Now I'm just like overly trying to get some information. And so I feel like that comes with age. So we'll talk more about it during the episode. But yeah, this was good for me. So anyway, moving on. Okay, so the next we have Whitney, and hers is roses are redheads, violets are blue, don't come for me or I'll come for you. 7.5. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm not going to give it more. I'm not going to give it you know what? No, it's an 8. Sorry, I lied. It's an 8. It's an 8. I would give it something higher, but I do not like the red type of red that Whitney went with when it came to her hair. I think she would be an amazing redhead, but I think she should have went with like maybe a darker red. This is more of like a lighter red and kind of almost orangish, and I don't love it on her. But she definitely has a look where that will work. But I'm not sure if we'll find out later on in the season, so I'm not going to spoil what the reason is behind her having the red hair this season. But there is a reason. She was intentional about the hair color. So I do like that. And then also we do see this exact thing this episode. Now, I will say, but Whitney, girl, you be coming after people too. Like, I don't know. It lands to me because I like the line, but because it's Whitney and she has came for people first multiple times before, it's interesting. So yeah, I do like this tagline. So let's get into the next one, though. The next one, let's talk about Mary. Mary is, I'm here to eat, drink, and be merry. And yes, this is funny to me because that's kind of, so far this season, that is what she's given. She is really not trying to get involved in the BS. Like, she chimes in with her 1-2s here and there, but it definitely is giving, I want no parts of this mess. Especially when it came to this episode, she chimed in when she needed to chime in, and she got right back out of there. She wasn't staying in it. So honestly, she was kind of doing something similar to how Heather was later on this episode. Like, they said what they need to say, and then they got up out of there. They were not trying to do all that. So I do like that this eat, drink, and be merry. I love it. I love it. This is a good one for me. And I also like, this is actually, I feel like the first one where she's not really, because normally she's the one who always has like a religious one, a somewhat religious read. And this one, I'm like, oh, this isn't really as much of a religious read this season, or this tagline. But either way, it's still good. I like it. It landed for me. And I will say this too, going back to Whitney's, I think the reason why I wanted to say 7.5 versus 8, because I think I am going to make it 7.5. She said a lot of stuff in one tagline. Like, she had to kind of say it very quickly because it was a long tagline. Like, when you read it, it's a long tagline compared to everyone else's. So, yeah, that's the only thing about it that I'm kind of like, yeah, let's turn that to 7.5. But Mary's, I might give it a solid 7. It's good. It's good. So far, side note, the only tagline that I don't really care for is Meredith's so far. Everyone's tagline is good. Anyway, let's go to last but not least, Lisa Barlow's tagline. Okay, so then the last tagline is, I don't go low, I go the distance. And she's the last person who says her tagline. And it's a reference to her saying, we're going the distance, we're going the distance. It works. It definitely, she kind of did that. She kind of ate that one down. So because she ate that down, I'm giving this one an 8. She ate, so she gets an 8. Yeah, no one to me was a solid 10. And no one was really a 9. The 8s, 7s, and then really Meredith was the only one to me that was kind of a 6. Honestly, I'm giving 6 because I'm giving grace. I really want to give it like a 5 or 4 because it just didn't land at all to me, but everyone else's did. But I think it also reflects on, when I review the taglines, I'm also thinking about what is their contribution to the season so far, and do I foresee them having any major contribution to the season? And really, I feel like I'm rating it based off of how it's going to go this season, for the most part. But anyway, that does conclude my little small video when it comes to the taglines. I will have the Real Housewives episode when it comes to the actual review up on Thursday. So this I will put up today, which is a Wednesday. And then Thursday will be Salt Lake City. And then Friday, I will try to hopefully have Miami up either Friday or Saturday morning. I think we're going to try to get the Friday done. It just really depends on how quickly I get to watching the show, because I was kind of delayed in watching the show for this episode. And then for those who haven't seen my previous videos, I was out of town for some time. Personal stuff going on. And I will be honest, this episode, I love the episode, but at the same time, there were a lot of heavy stuff in this episode. And I'm just kind of like, oh, why? I like it and I love the episode, but because I have stuff going on, I'm just like, man, I really just want a break from some heavy stuff. I really do. But overall, still was a good episode. But anyway, you'll get that shortly. And hopefully I will try to stay on schedule. I'm not sure though, if the Real Housewives of Miami review, if I'm going to have it as a video or if I'm going to do it as a podcast, because I'm thinking about taking my hair down. And when I take my hair down, you already know that in between kind of looks kind of crazy. And so I usually will do a video or two until I get it together, until the hair is natural again. And then I get back on. Yeah, so that's kind of a little bit more of the schedule update. And then I got to take it down this week because I'm going to redo my hair braids versus like these, because right now I have these in twists, like the Bohemian twists. I think I'm done with the Bohemian stuff, because y'all are probably like, you've been doing the Bohemian goddess stuff all summer. And it's true, I have. That's been my style I went to this year. I go through phases. And I always try to get blonde in at least once a year. And this was like my attempt to get the blonde in. I did do some lighter hair earlier this year. But I think this fall I'm going to change up the hair. It's still going to be braids, but we're going to go back to the red. Because I'm kind of obsessed with red right now. That is like my new thing. And for those who do their hair regularly, do different hairstyles and stuff like that, I do it as a form of creativity. But I also do it as, I feel like it is a form of my person. I feel like every hairstyle for me has different personality, especially hair colors. Red is really kind of my vibe for this year for the most part. I probably should just stay red this whole entire year. But I had moments where I wanted some lightness and fun. Blonde for me resembles fun, so we go blonde. The way I did this was blonde with some black because this actually was fitting my mood. I was trying to find some funness in the stuff that's heavy and serious. Y'all probably didn't want to hear about this. I know this is like really like a random thing that I'm talking about just now, but I kind of want to make this video just slightly longer because I originally was going to put this in the review, but now we're doing this as a separate deal. But anyway, that's enough about my business and the taglines. I want to know how you felt about the taglines. Anyway, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you get anything out of the content. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner, and I will see you next time. Bye.